Hi everyone, it's another video of me, Pedro Marques, founder of Nautical. Today I want to focus on the question, what is an MLOps engineer? Depending on where you are or if you're still in college, you may or may not have heard of the title MLOps engineer. So I want to demystify the role, what it is and what it tries to do. And I want to wrap it up in a 3 minutes explanation. So to start with answering the question of what are the goals of a MLOps engineer, from the highest levels, all MLOps engineers do is build and take care of AI models. But it's really not that simple. Our goals are so much more than building and taking care of AI models. An MLOps engineer's goal is really to own the entire machine learning lifecycle in such a way that it makes it super easy for data scientists to improve the machine learning models. The thing about models is that they have to be monitored and served, and we often need to develop some sort of core framework that's easy for really any data scientist that maybe doesn't necessarily understand the complexities of the infrastructure behind the model, and they can come up to you with a new model and you can easily deploy it for them in production. For example, you might build a data pipeline for feature engineering on a massive data set, making the process seamless for data scientists. This in particularly can be very difficult for them, who are more skilled in the world of machine learning and dealing with very small amounts of data in pandas. To add to that fact, machine learning models these days need to be closely monitored. If you've ever built a classical ML model, you'll know that the model is sensitive to changes on the input data. This means there needs to be a proactive effort from our side to track the changes on the input distribution before they reach the model itself. For example, to flag issues upstream to the data engineer team in case there are issues. After you train the model, we'll often create model artifacts using tools such as MLflow. This is just a version snapshot you can always revert to, even if the source code changed dramatically. Another goal for MLOps engineers is really to make sure that the data science experiments are reproducible in a production environment. One major problem is that you'll often deal with is that stakeholders, when they hear AI, they will think that it's right all the time. The reality is that ML models are probabilistic. For example, the transaction has a 72% chance of being fraud. There are always trade-offs: precision versus recall, accuracy versus latency. And finally, the other big thing MLOps engineers do is dealing with how models naturally get worse over time, because the patterns that they found before don't hold up today. Take fraud detection, trained on UK data. It might not work that well when you're using it for Hungary, because fraud behaviors are just different there. So you need more than just fresher data to adapt. You need to continuously monitor the model for prediction quality and figure out when to retrain with relevant data from that new domain. You don't wait at the scientists wasting their precious time on all that monitoring and retraining stuff that I just talked about. Let them focus on researching ways to improve model accuracy metrics. If they do waste their time on monitoring and retraining, the model's performance is just gonna stall or even get worse. MLOps engineers don't just build and take care of ML models. They focus on developing a core framework that's easy to work for really any data science that maybe doesn't necessarily understand the complexity of the infrastructure behind the model. Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and see you next time. Bye.